Okay, so we're going to get into the software itself. You're in Handitax and you're about to enter the client for your assignment. So we're going to go up here, we'll click on Clients and New. If we wanted a shortcut, we could hit the F2 key here, but we'll click Clients and New. And you'll see that this window pops up. Now our instructions are down here in the bottom of the left-hand corner. So it's asking us, are we going to have an individual or a non-individual client? So a non-individual client would be company, partnership, trust. In this case, I believe your assignment is an individual, so we'll put in I here. And now we would put in the last name or the business name of the client. Well, it's an individual, so it's going to be his last name, Mr. Jones, Mr. Thomas Jones. A reference code will come up here. Now, in terms of the software, that's very, very important. And for the sake of the assignment, let's just let the software choose a reference code for us, and we'll tab through. So as I'm clicking through here, I literally enter the information and hit the tab key. Tom is his casual name. In the assignment, you'll be given a tax file number. I don't have one of those today. And he may be given an ABN in your assignment. If that was the case, you would add it there. So tabbing through still. The date added, I'm going to put in today's date. I just hit the plus key and the date pops in for me. And at this point, if Mr. Jones was married or related to somebody else, I could literally pre-fill everything else by copying that information. But let's enter it in manually, because that's what you'll have to do on the assignment. We hit A for an all-purpose address. That's what we'll put in. We're going to put in 22 Barlow Street, Clayfield, Queensland 4101. We're going to ignore that, and we're going to add in a phone number. So we'll make it this 32001000, and we might add in a contact email. So it's Tom. It's Tom.Jones at hotmail.com. If you were a larger practice and you had partners and things, you could assign the client to a partner or to a manager. If you have various offices, a Sydney office, a Brisbane office, we would add them there. The client is current. We're certainly doing the return for them. If it was a business, we could add in BAS information here, but I don't believe you'll need to do that in the assignment. So at this point, we would be quite happy with that. We've got the main information of the client in, and I'm going to hit close. It'll come up, and because it's an individual, it's automatically going to pick an iReturn. It's selected the iReturn for you, and that's what we want it to do. And we may click the status of the return saying we've been interviewed, or the client's been interviewed and we're ready to start it. Once again, you don't have to do that, but it's something you could do if you wished, or certainly would do if you were working in a firm. So we'll hit save at this point and hit close. And you can see now that the client is now in our database. We normally have a tax file number, an ABN there, and then down here we've got the return. We want to open up the return, so let's just select it. And we come to this screen. Now, we want to keep this video brief. I mean, I could show you all the bells and whistles, and there is quite a few bells and whistles with this software. For example, if we wanted to go to the main form, I just hit the M key and the main form will open up. And close that down. If I wanted to go to the front cover, see how the little C up here has got a little underline underneath the letter C. I just hit the letter C, and it will open up the front cover for me. There's various ways you can navigate around. You can literally just click on it and it will open those sorts of things. So we're in our front cover and we'll continue on with the return. This is going to be a very simple return. You'll have a tax file number in here in your assignment. The names and everything is pre-filled from the client database information. We're going to add in a mobile, so it might be 0400 111 222, great number. He's in Brisbane. Once again, we might fill in the 3100 2100, whatever it is. We have our email address, Tom Jones at hotmail.com. We can scroll down, or we could literally click here to navigate through. If we wanted to go back up the top, we can just click up here and it'll take us down here. We can click date of death, it'll take us down to there. We want to go back to the address, so we can use this to navigate as well if we wish, but I normally just click down the page. It's no big deal, and for the purposes of the exercise right now, I'm quite happy with that, and I'm going to hit save and I'm going to close it. We now want to move on to our main return, so I'm going to click here, and in terms of navigating around the return itself, I know this is something that's probably worthwhile. I just happen to use a go-to key, which I'm literally going to type G10, enter, and it takes me through to interest. If I go the letter G on the keyboard, 18, enter, it takes me straight to capital gains. So if you know what the number is in return, say deduction 1, GD1, enter. You can just simply navigate very, very quickly, coding your return in, and it will navigate around the return that way. So just that G key, G and wherever you want to be, and enter, or you can just scroll down as you wish using your mouse key, whatever suits you. But certainly once you start to do a few returns in a day, that G key is absolutely magic, and it helps you get the return in as quickly as possible. So we're going to click on here, and once again we've got this little help in the bottom left hand corner, and we're going to look for the main wage occupation code. It says here if I put in F5, I'm going to click F5, I'll get a list. So I'm going to click find. In the assignment, it might be a solicitor, an accountant, a shoemaker, who knows what it will be in your assignment, but you'll go for the actual. I'm going to pick a company director, and it didn't come up, so I might pick the word director. You've got to be a little bit careful with your the way you choose and type it in. So that's a good example. And here's a managing director. So in this case, I'm going to say the client is a managing director, and at this point we will put in the information from the PAYG payment summary. So this will be a number will go in here. Now, just a brief point to note here, you do need to enter a valid ABN. If you don't enter a valid ABN, you'll get an error and it won't let you proceed. So now I've keyed ahead a little bit here. I've got the name of the payer, my boss or the company that I work for is in here with the ABN that's associated. In this very simple example, we've got some tax withheld and a gross payment. No doubt in the assignment you'll have some other information that you may want to consider at that point in time. So we're going to go down and put some interest in. Maybe he's got a bit of bank interest in this particular case. I just went G10 and hit entered, and I'm just clicked in there. I can use the add button down here if we wish, or edit. There's more than one way you can do it. I'm just going to put some NAB. He's got an account number 123456, and he's got $10 in interest. And for the sake of this, we're going to put no here. So we've put in our interest in our very simple return. We'll move on to the next step. We might add in, or he's gone to Alan and Alan. He had his tax return done there last year, and his only deduction for the current year is $165, which is the tax return fee that he paid the accountant in the previous year. So at that point, we've got our data in. We now need to check if there's any errors with the return. So we will come down here, we will click errors. If we want to see what the estimate is, how he's going, we can click over here in the top button. That will give us an estimate of how much or what situation is, whether he's in a refund or what's going on. We can certainly use over here to navigate as well. I prefer the G key, but if you want to navigate around by clicking over here, you can, and you can keep that in mind. At this point though, let's go and see what errors we have. And you can see that we've got some errors that we need to get rid of before we can lodge. So you would go in, if you go select particular errors, we could hit go to, we could click a report, and it will tell us what's going on and what the issues are. And part of the job of this assignment will be to reduce these errors. So for example, I will show you this one. We'll hit go to, and at this point it's asking us if there's any additional information to put into these in-ton tests. I'm going to say no, there's not. I want a 0 put in there, and I'm going to hit yes there. That will put through most of them with zeros, as you can just see, and he doesn't have any dependent children. We'd hit save, go back to the errors, and you can see that error has now gone. So they're fairly straightforward. There's a help function here, and I will let you work through the errors, go through the reports. It will explain to you what the errors are, and that will give you the opportunity to correct them. So your assignment is finished. We now need to print it out. Edit, and click here. Your return will come to this page, and you can literally scroll down and you can see the information that we've just keyed into the return. At that point, we could export to PDF if we wish, and click here. If we do that, it'll open up in our PDF reader, and we can just scroll down the page, and once again this will match the data that we've just entered. The other thing we could do is we could print that to our printer at that particular point in time if we want to print a copy and make some adjustments or handwrite notes on it, those sorts of things. So that's pretty much our introduction to doing the Handitax tax return and your assignment. I hope these little helpful tips have been of assistance today, and I wish you all the best with the assignment.